Powerful parties do not approach conflict in the same way as weak parties. As was the case with structural asymmetries, power acts on people to change their motivations and behaviors. In particular, powerful parties are often not that motivated to care about their partners. Being powerful, these parties are primarily focused on their own interests and needs, and they are reluctant to accommodate, and they generally prefer confrontational strategies that are quite favorable to them. When power comes with a higher hierarchical position, it gives yet another advantage, that of greater familiarity with conflict management. Indeed, managers and supervisors are more frequently confronted with conflict management, because in addition to the conflicts that concern them directly, they are also often involved as third parties in the conflicts of their subordinates. This additional experience with the conflict management process gives them a greater sense of control, which allows them to be more comfortable in the conflict situation. For their part, the weaker parties have no choice but to consider the needs and interests of the more powerful parties. Indeed, the very nature of power is that it confers on the powerful parties the ability to punish those who oppose them, or not to reward those who do not act in accordance with their desires. This feature makes weaker parties especially attentive to the needs of more powerful parties in their attempt at accessing potential rewards or avoiding sanctions. In behavioral terms, the weak parties prefer avoidance or accommodation to confrontation. Again, because they have less control over the situation, the risks incurred by the weaker parties are greater, which leads them to be particularly cautious on their actions. When weakness is the result of a lower hierarchical position, weak parties have, as I said, less experience than powerful parties with conflict and its management. This lesser experience is accompanied by feelings of uncertainty that further increase their sense of lack of control and their avoidance strategies. It is interesting to note that after the conflict, satisfaction felt by the weak and the powerful differs substantially. The powerful parties who opted for confrontation and who easily imposed their desire come out of the conflict with a strong sense of satisfaction, a deep impression that the conflict and its management went smoothly, and that the agreement reached is a good one. These powerful parties are usually also satisfied with the way the weaker parties comply with the terms of the agreement. Being in a weak position, the latter have indeed no choice but to respect what has been decided, or else face, once again, heavy sanctions. On the other hand, weak parties are less often satisfied than powerful ones with the conflict and their management. Because of their avoidance behavior or the imposition behavior of the powerful partner, the predominant emotion of the weak is frustration, the feeling that their interests and needs have not been heard. In the long run, the weaker parties often also feel that the stronger parties are being lax on their compliance with the term of the agreement, which further increases their feelings of frustration. It goes without saying that what has just been said is only a generalization, and that as a generalization, it does not apply to all powerful parties nor to all weak parties. Indeed, some people with power can be very attentive to their subordinates and put their needs before their own. Similarly, some people in a weak position have no problem deploying confrontation strategies, especially when that weak position is perceived as illegitimate. Furthermore, power has a large subjective component. This means that the feeling of having power is often a stronger predictor of behavior than the objective power one has. Finally, Powerful people must be careful not to overestimate their power, and weak people must be careful not to underestimate their power. A powerful party that is too greedy or too self-centered is likely to provoke revolt, while a weak party that is not very enterprising will obtain agreements that are unnecessarily unfavorable and that do not meet any of their interests.